Telling all Flock members, if you want to become truly elite, for just $1 a month, you too can become an elite bad bird. Check out my Patreon account. Link is in the description.
Hello and welcome back, my Flock and EBB members. The Badraven is here to continue the Nightmare on Elm Street reviews. This is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. This came out in 1985, exactly 1 year after the original Nightmare on Elm Street came out. So they knew they had something big here at New Line. They knew that Freddy was getting to be a very big horror icon, and the money was coming in. So they rushed out this sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street. And I remember watching this once in the 80s. I don't remember ever watching it again, and I couldn't remember why I didn't want to watch it again. I figured it out, you know. I figured it out. It was because of the subject matter. It had a very strange turn to it. I don't know if you watch the movie, you probably get the vibe. Back in the 80s, this wasn't a big type of topic that everybody talked about. But it had a very strange turn. Anyway, you had the boy. The boy was being the stalker, being stalked by Freddy. Let's get into this, though. It was directed by Jack Shoulder. It was written by Wes Craven and David Chaskin. It stars, of course, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. And you watch the very beginning of the movie, there's a bus. It begins with a school bus, it ends with a school bus. The school bus driver in the very beginning of the movie, if you look closely, is Robert Englund with no makeup on. And that's a cool little thing in the movie that I didn't notice the first time. Mark Patton plays Jess Walsh. Kim Myers plays Lisa Weber. Robert Russler plays Ron Grady. And that's the main cast. I'm not going to get into the parents and all this kind of stuff. Even though Googler is Mr. Walsh. He's a well-known, he's a well-known, I guess, low-budget director, I guess you could say, for the time. But I just thought I would include him in there. These are the reviews I'm doing with the Movie Freak 2000. If you don't know who Movie Freak 2000 is, please check my info here on the description. I'll have a link to his site. He's doing the reviews also of Nightmare on Elm Street, and we're kind of do what he does one, I do the again in number one, and I'm doing number two of Nightmare. He'll be doing number 2 of Nightmare. So we're kind of taking turns on each of them, and not watching each other's until after we do it to see if we kind of think alike on it. But this one is I think it was rushed out too soon for the masses. They wanted to get in on the craze for Freddy. So this one came out, and like I said, it had a male lead that was the one being stalked in this one. Basically being, and this is spoilers, people, so if you're not watching Elm Street, please don't watch it from here on out. But he has been stalked by Freddy, and Freddy wants him to do the killings for him, so he's kind of, I guess, possessing the Jess Walsh character. And Jess Walsh, I mean, this is set back in the 80s. I see a lot of the 80s music. I mean, I hear a lot of the 80s music, and I see a lot of the 80s stuff in it. But it's just really, I don't know if it just don't hold up to the day. This 80s part of it just looked really, really strange to me. It had a very homosexual feel to the whole movie. And if you know the coach in it, the person that played the coach in here, who it is exactly who's playing him. But anyway, the guy that plays the coach here is very a gay character, I assume. Back in the 80s, you know, you had gay characters in movies, but there was more played up for comedic value back then. I know times have changed nowadays, and that's not acceptable anymore. But back then, you know, the 80s was all over the place. You get the very homosexual vibe from that. You have all kinds of strange. I don't know, the way that the teenagers interact with each other. The one character, Ron Grady, that's played by Robert Russler, in one scene, they're in the lunchroom, he does all of his dialogue with his mouth full of food. I mean, he's just constantly eating, and he's talking. He's talking about it being grounded. He can't go out and all this. And the whole time he's got food in his mouth while he's talking, so it's all muffled. I thought that was, just a mistake, but apparently they wanted it to be that way. I thought that was very distracting in that part. Also, Freddy being attacking him in the dreams was all normal. And I do like some of the dream sequences in this, like at the very beginning when the bus goes crazy and the kids are all on the bus and it's dangling there. I thought it was done really well with Freddy. The build up, all the payoff on that really paid off. I think they had some really neat stuff. I just didn't like when he came out into the real world. Like there's one part where they're at a party and he is being sucked into the real world and disappearing and coming back, and the boys think he's going crazy because he's the one with the bloody glove on every time after Freddy goes away. So the psychological stuff is there, but as a Freddy Krueger movie, it's one of the weakest ones out of the bunch. And I may take that bad time I go through all these, but it just had a strange feel for it. I mean, it was presentable. It was well made as the dream sequences go. As I said, the special effects looked really well on it. I think Krueger's mask was really, Robert Englund's mask as Freddy looks really done well. And kills were inventive, except for the one with the coach in the shower room. They hitting him with the towels and then like strangling him or whatever. Thought it was very strange, very homoerotic, I guess you could say. But I could tell, you could tell I didn't really like this movie. That's probably why I didn't watch it again in the 80s and I had forgot a lot about it. It was just very tacky, didn't travel well from the 80s to the present day. Didn't really do anything for me besides the dream sequences. So I wouldn't recommend this to anybody that's not seen any of the Night on the Streets. I would just kind of jump this one from one, which was really good, to part 3, which will be the next review. And I really enjoyed part 3, so I can't wait to get into that one. But this one's it's a mixed bag. Nothing to really write home about. This will be the last part 2 for me, and then be on to Movie Freak 2000's part 2. You can watch his too and see what you think of his review. And I'll be going on to part 3. I just like to say I appreciate every Flock member and EBB member out there that watches our channel. We got a PayPal link over here on the side. The PayPal button. If you want to leave us a donation, would be greatly appreciated. We definitely need donations here at the Bad Raven's Nest and the Bad Raven. Drew Drop would really appreciate that. Make our day and drop us some donations would be greatly appreciated. And we also got a Patreon account. If you want to become Elite Bad Birds, you can get a band that says support the Bad Raven. Join the Flock. And just for $1 a month for that, and I'll put your name at the end of every video. And I'd like to say, always remember, the Bad Raven is your friend, and I appreciate everybody out there, and we'll talk at you later, and goodbye.
The Bad Raven would like to thank the very first Elite Bad Birds member, the New York Dragon. Join him and support the Bad Raven channel.